Since last night, Iran has launched wave after wave against Israeli territory. The provisional toll, at least 5 distinct attacks within 7 hours. 5 in a single night. The missiles used are not low-level projectiles. We are talking about Khaybar Shikan, medium-range ballistic missiles, precise, capable of traveling hundreds of kilometers. There are also Qadr-type missiles, modified to carry multiple warheads, fragmentation, dispersion, cluster. Weapons designed not to strike a single point, but to cover an area, to saturate, to overwhelm defenses. The Iranian Revolutionary Guards have claimed what they themselves call Wave 37, presenting it as the heaviest, densest, and most destructive since the beginning of this escalation. Wave 37. That number alone says everything about the intensity and duration of this conflict. 37 waves. And this morning, they claim to have launched the most violent one yet. Hundreds of cluster missiles are believed to be involved in the latest salvos. Hundreds. The center of Tel Aviv and the southern part of the city have been directly hit. Damage is being reported. Destruction is already visible in videos circulating right now across social networks. At the same time, from the north, the Lebanese group Hezbollah launched its own salvos toward Israel, and some of those missiles reached Tel Aviv, some reached Jerusalem. What makes these strikes particularly alarming is this: several impacts occurred before the warning sirens even sounded. Zero warning, zero window to take shelter. The missiles arrived before the alarm. This scenario, strikes without prior sirens, is one of the most feared by Israeli authorities and civilians. It may mean trajectories too fast to detect in time, a saturation of surveillance systems, or a combination of both. In every case, the result is the same: civilians exposed, without protection, at the moment of impact. Two fronts are now active: the south from Iran through long-range ballistic trajectories, the north from Lebanon with short and medium-range missiles. Israel is caught in a pincer. Israeli defense systems, among the most sophisticated in the world, are operating at full capacity. The Iron Dome intercepts. The Arrow system intercepts. Massive interceptions have been underway for hours. Dozens, perhaps hundreds of projectiles have been neutralized in mid-air. But here is the problem. Here is what the images show. Here is what the live videos confirm. Some get through. As in recent days and weeks, even Israel's multi-layered defense system cannot intercept everything when faced with an offensive of this scale. Hundreds of missiles launched simultaneously, successive waves, varied trajectories, and dispersal warheads. And when cluster warheads are involved, even a single missile that gets through can devastate a wide area. This appears to be the saturation logic that Iran and Hezbollah have been applying for several weeks. Launch enough missiles so that defense systems simply cannot intercept them all. Perfect precision is not required. Breaking through defenses at a specific point is not necessary. It is enough to launch enough missiles for the law of large numbers to do its work. And this morning, that strategy appears to be producing results. On X, formerly Twitter, posts have been multiplying at a dizzying speed over the past few minutes. Reports coming from the ground describe videos filmed from apartments, streets, and rooftops in Tel Aviv, showing bright flashes in the sky, interceptions by the Iron Dome, followed by lower, closer explosions, impacts, debris, smoke. Witnesses say they heard missiles whistling above the city before the explosions. Others describe multiple detonations in rapid succession, the typical signature of fragmentation or cluster warheads dispersing just before impact. Residents across the Dan metropolitan area, the region that includes Tel Aviv and its surrounding cities, describe a sleepless night. Children in shelters for hours, families frozen in concrete stairwells, waiting for it to pass, waiting to know if it will pass. Journalists on the ground confirm impacts in the city center and the south of Tel Aviv, not just attempted strikes intercepted in the sky, real impacts, buildings hit,
streets damaged. The Wave 37 claimed by the Revolutionary Guards is already being described by several military analysts online as the heaviest barrage so far. Some see it as a deliberate escalation, a calculated message that Iran can strike even harder if necessary.
To understand the geographic scale of what is happening, these areas have been under active alerts or have already received strikes in recent hours. Tel Aviv, center and south, Ramat Gan, Givatayim, Holon, Bat Yam, Petah Tikva, and according to several sources, alerts were also triggered toward Jerusalem following Hezbollah launches. This is not a peripheral zone, an isolated outpost, or a distant border area. This is the economic, demographic, and symbolic heart of Israel. Millions of people live here. Corporate headquarters, hospitals, universities, and dense residential neighborhoods are located here. Striking Tel Aviv means striking Israel at its core. For those following events since the beginning, the escalation of March 11, 2026 did not come out of nowhere. The days of March 9th and March 10th were already marked by waves of strikes that caused deaths and destroyed residential buildings. Deaths, civilian homes destroyed, families who lost everything, and now, this morning, a wave that the Revolutionary Guards themselves call the heaviest. The trajectory is clear. Each wave is more intense than the previous one. Each salvo pushes Israeli defenses further. Each attack tests new trajectories, new types of warheads, new timing windows. This is no longer a controlled escalation with clear signals to stop. This is a climb toward extremes. Let us be precise about what is confirmed at this hour. Confirmed: active sirens across the Dan metropolitan area. Explosions and impacts reported and filmed in the center and south of Tel Aviv. At least 5 Iranian strike waves within 7 hours. Hezbollah launches from Lebanon reaching areas around Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. Massive interceptions by Arrow and Iron Dome systems, projectiles that nevertheless penetrated the defenses, and Iran's claim of a Wave 37 described as the most intense so far. Not yet precisely confirmed, the exact number of casualties from the March 11th wave, the precise number of missiles that struck populated areas, the full extent of material destruction in the past hours. This uncertainty is not minimization, it is the reality of an active strike environment. Numbers take time to emerge, rescue teams operate while missiles may still be falling, and authorities often release information carefully to avoid widespread panic. But previous waves on March 9th and March 10th did cause confirmed deaths and residential destruction, and this morning's offensive is described as even heavier. Because what is happening this morning in Tel Aviv will not remain confined to Tel Aviv. An offensive of this scale, multi-front, multi-wave, using increasingly sophisticated weapons and publicly claimed by the Iranian Revolutionary Guards as their largest strike yet, is a major geopolitical event that will affect markets, diplomatic capitals, military alliances, and civilian populations far beyond the Middle East. Israel's response, the positions of the United States, Europe, Russia, and China, the future of any ceasefire if one existed, the future of negotiations, all of this may be shaped in the hours ahead. The situation is extremely volatile and evolving minute by minute. New waves may still be launched, new impacts may be confirmed, a clearer human toll will likely emerge in the coming hours. Stay informed, share verified information, and keep a thought for the millions of civilians who at this very moment are in shelters, stairwells, and basements waiting for the sky to stop falling.